Hey, what's up, guys? So, today I want to talk about how a meat eater, within 10 seconds, it might have even been less, but around 10 seconds, was able to convince me to no longer be vegan. I never realized how cloudy the vegan diet has been making my mental state until I heard this argument. This argument was one of the most deep insights I've ever heard in my life. This scholar of a meat eater made an insight so revelatory that it actually caused me to enter an out of body experience. And within this out of body experience, I realized that all of the arguments that have put together my vegan position are actually just silly and some of the dumbest shit ever. The mere depth of this argument puts itself in a category of ideas that are almost beyond human comprehension. Of all the profound qualities that this argument possesses, the main one that I find most, compelling and standing out is the fact that no vegan has ever heard it before. The argument was, eating meat is natural, you dumb vegan. Eat some KFC or McDonald's. Haha, dumb, vegan, not natural, you.
For years, I would get in arguments with friends of mine that were vegan and vegetarian, and I'd say that's the most unnatural diet you can have. And they'd be like, what do you mean? It's the healthiest diet you can have. No, it's not. How is that healthy? I always cite this. Where do you get your B12 from? You're a vegan? Where are you getting your B12 from? And that they really have no answer. They'll say something like broccoli or something like that. Just something ridiculous. It's absurd. B12, you can only get it from an animal source. B12, you can only get it from an animal source. B12, you can only get it from an animal source. You have to have B12. Okay, so then you have to take a supplement. You can only get it from an animal source. Then you have to take a supplement. You can only get it from an animal source. You have to supplement your diet. It just seems ridiculous.
So guys, there really is so many layers that we can go into and, dissect to show how good of an argument this is against veganism. So I wanted to start with just how true it is that the person who made this comment is sourcing his meat from natural sources, like KFC and McDonald's. KFC and McDonald's source their meat from factory farms, which are extremely natural. Just look at how natural these factory farms are. There was zero human intervention involved in the production of these natural farms. The animals on these farms are the product of artificial insemination. Let's take a look at the definition of the word artificial. The definition of artificial is made or produced by human beings rather than occurring naturally, especially as a copy of something natural. All right, so artificial insemination is insemination that is produced by humans rather than insemination which occurs naturally. In other words, it's natural. Let's also look at one of these synonyms of the word artificial. Oh look, we have the word unnatural. So now, referring back to the jaw-dropping argument, this genius is sourcing his meat from artificial insemination while implying his meat eating is natural. So we can only conclude from this that his genetically modified meat that came from something artificial is natural. Let's actually take a moment to compare the meat production which this genius is implying is the product of nature to actual nature. Tell me if you see a difference, because I really just don't. So the second part of the comment implies that veganism is bad because it's not natural. So what we can, extract from that is that this person thinks that if something is not natural, we ought not do it. This person had to have made this comment on a smartphone or computer And both of these things definitely occur in nature. KFC and McDonald's are also very natural occurrences in nature. They really are just the product of allowing nature's cycle to run for millions of years. This person is extremely consistent when it comes to staying away from unnatural practices. Definitely. Now, when we reflect once more on this argument, we also see that this genius is implying that meat eating is good because it is natural. So according to this God's reasoning, if something is natural, it is therefore good. So let's look at some things that are natural and that we therefore ought to accept. Arsenic is natural. It is a naturally occurring element that is found in combination with either inorganic or organic substances to form many different compounds. Soluble inorganic arsenic can have immediate toxic effects. Ingestion of large amounts can lead to gastrointestinal symptoms such as severe vomiting, disturbances of the blood and circulation, damage to the nervous system, and eventually death. So guys, operating under this meat eater's brilliant logic, it is good to ingest a substance which can lead to severe vomiting, disturbances of the blood and circulation, damage to the nervous system, and eventually death, because it's natural. Makes sense. Being a victim of a tsunami is a very natural occurrence, and therefore it is something that we should not be avoiding because it's natural. To actively avoid a tsunami through artificial means, like leaving the area on an artificial plane, just wouldn't be right because that just isn't natural. When a tsunami is coming your way, it is your moral obligation to endure it like our ancestors did. Why? Because it's natural. I'm also wondering why we have anti-murder and anti-sexual assault laws in play when murder and sexual assault are both natural things that our ancestors have been taking part in for the longest time. I mean, guys, veganism aside, why are human beings trying to avoid so many things that are natural? Creating medicines to avoid disease, creating vaccines to avoid viruses spreading, or, shelter to help people, not be victim of tsunamis, telling people to avoid ingesting arsenic, making sure people don't commit sexual assault and murder. I mean, all of these things are disgustingly immoral and unnatural. So guys, I hope you understand now why this is the strongest argument against veganism and why if you're vegan, you should not be a vegan because it's just not a natural thing. Let me know in the comments below if you've also heard a really intelligent argument against veganism that made you no longer be a vegan, upon hearing it. I would love to know because really, there's just so many good arguments against veganism and I can't get enough of them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you appreciate my work and want to support me on Patreon, the link is in my description. Thank you again for watching and I'll see you in the next video.
Dude, even vegans don't get your weird, stupid wannabe sense of irony here. Who is your audience? Nobody gets these dumb jokes. Dude, even vegans don't get your weird, stupid